Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's good to be here with you again. I figured I should make a video because I just went and took a COVID test and wanted to have the experience of that. It's the kind where you put it back in your throat there. And it was just good to go out and do it. Uh, we have some kids in the house and they have had some symptoms, but we're not sure what it is, but it just seemed like the thing to do to go and get tested and find out. And it was to like an opportunity to demystify the process. And I realized when I was driving there again how much fear there is, and then denial. So let's see. These I want to kind of articulate these thoughts. So in one respect, we have like all of the fear, right? That we're going to die, and our discomfort with death and dying. And part of that is because we want to live, we want to do the spiritual lessons that we came here to complete, right? We want to be with our loved ones here. So we have a fear of that. But the other thing is that we've forgotten that we are immortal souls, right? That this is a journey, and that this is only part of our experience. We are more than our physical bodies. And so because we've forgotten that, we think that we're just human beings, or human doings in some case, we've forgotten that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, to learn our spiritual lessons. And so that fear of death, that fear of non-existence, as one client I recently did a past life regression on talked about, was that there was a fear of not existing. And then she went through the process well, she was in the process of the past life regression, but having a fear of non-existence, and then realizing that, you know, life goes on, and she was birthed into another lifetime. So there's some sirens in the background here, but we have a lot of fear about our mortality because we think that this is all there is. And once you get connected to the fact that you're more than your body, that you're an eternal spirit, some of that death anxiety goes away. It doesn't mean that you don't still want to be here and be active and play a part and do your spiritual lessons. It just means that you know that this isn't the end, that when you die and release the body, you're birthed into something else. And in fact, in some cases, the scariest thing you'll ever do is take on a human incarnation, because this is where we experience so much pain and suffering and disconnection from our higher source. So in one extreme, we have a lot of fear. On the other part, we have this sort of people getting caught up in all the conspiracy theories and who to blame and what to, who's at fault here. And, that's separation thinking. That's good and bad thinking. And even people that consider themselves spiritual people, high spiritual people, are very caught up in conspiracy theories of who caused this. Was it made in a lab, or who's to blame for this, or who's profiting from this, and all of that. And I think it's gross that people are profiting more than they need to. It's one thing to have an energy exchange, right? We should, right? It's the law of circulation. But if somebody's only giving and not receiving, then that's imbalance. But if somebody's only taking and not giving, that's out of balance. And I said imbalanced, not imbalanced, but imbalanced. So it's unbalanced if you're only giving. It's unbalanced if you're only taking. And it's also unbalanced if you're really taking, 4 and 5 times as much as what you're giving. And that's kind of what we're seeing with people. Again, profiting over people, putting profit before the lives of people. But what I'm kind of getting at here, albeit circuitously, is that this virus is also part of the divine. It's part of the divine plan, right? And it's an opportunity for things to shift. And so we can try to say who's to blame, or we can go, okay, this has come up into our field. And how do I want to be during this time? Do I want to be somebody that's caught up in fear and separation and blame and hostility? Or do I want to be peaceful? Do I want to go within and reflect? Do I want to clean up my own environment, which means my home, my office, my body temple, my thoughts, my relationships? Like, how do I want to use this time? Or do I want to spend all my time on conspiracy theories and who to blame? Or do I want to spend all my time, getting angry with the news and the leaders, which, again, I'm not saying you don't have valid reasons to do these things, but is that how you want to spend your time? Um, do you want to spend your time beating yourself up for not getting things done? Or do you want to allow yourself to be in the flow of creativity, the flow of connection, the flow of being with loved ones, the flow of being with yourself? Like, energetically, how do you want to show up during this time? And what if you could allow yourself to be at peace? And for those who are suffering, I have people suffering in my life. I have people who are sick in my life. I have people who are losing loved ones, not only to COVID, but, drug overdoses, clients that have lost loved ones to suicide. My sister lost her mom, natural causes of old age. My cousin lost her father to COVID, but he was also in memory care. So, I've had another client lose a loved one to a disease that person had. I have had another loved one lose somebody to natural causes. Another loved one lost somebody to a car accident. So there's a lot of, as one of my friends says, you have a lot of death going on. You know, a lot of people that are experiencing a lot of death in their world. And that's true. That's true. And how do we want to be with that? How do we want to support the people who are losing loved ones? How do we want to support the people who are sick? What supports them? Does getting angry support them in their immunity? Or does sending them loving, healing thoughts? Does taking time to just listen and be with them? What's gonna create the biggest impact? So, as you're doing your meditation today, just invite you to think about that. Like, how do you want to be? How do you want to be with this? I invite you to keep going within and finding the peace. And again, as everything's changing, it's going to be okay. Things are reordering themselves. It's kind of like when I relocated to Los Angeles. I thought I had a private practice and I was also working for a college up in the Bay Area when I moved. And I thought I would do the same thing when I got here, that I would get this job at this college and then also start my private practice. And what happened was I moved here and it looked like I was going to get the job, and the job fell through. So I had several months of just starting my practice over from scratch. And it was a time that was challenging because I was used to working a lot, and I had to just let go and work on what I could work on. And I was really mindful, and a friend of mine at the time too was like, don't squander this time, right? Don't squander this time by being anxious about money or anxious about getting a job or anxious about getting clients. Enjoy it. And that's what I did. I went to cafes. I wrote, It's Never Too Late to Be Yourself. I worked on my website, and I, connected with clients. I did my spiritual work. I went for walks. I got to know Los Angeles. I went all over Los Angeles. And I knew more about LA and had been to more places in LA than lots of Angelinos, because I gave myself the freedom to do that. And I didn't worry. I just let go of the worry. I knew, I trusted. Again, mana consciousness, that all of my needs are met in divine right timing. And they were. And they will be for you too. Just keep leaning into that trust, keep leaning into that faith, keep working on that, keep meditating, and keep finding peace within. Because, that's what's in your power. You don't have control over whether they find a vaccine or not, and you don't have control over what the president does or doesn't do, or you don't have control over, what happens in Wuhan, or even your neighbors that walk with or without masks and people around you. We don't have control over that. What we can do is do our part to take care of ourselves and to continue to find the peace within and the joy within. That's yours. So I'm going to invite you now to just receive a deep breath in and gently exhale. Good. And we're only going to have time for 6 minutes of meditation today, but you can stop this and if you want, and then in just a moment and do your 15 minutes and come back, or whatever feels good for you. But I'll put 6 minutes here going forward. All right. Peace and blessings, and see you next time. Good. Just let yourself relax, going deeper and deeper into that palpable presence. Allowing your body and mind to just let go and surrender. How sweet it is. How good it is to know that there is only one power, one presence, one divine love intelligence